And so we continue our quest to gather the power of the heroes of old. What awaits us on the continent of the Princess? Bedlam bells are pretty much the biggest obstacle you're going to face in this game, unless we're talking about sheer size, in which case that would be Bullwood, but we're not. Bedlam bells, when attended by a noise monster, will send out a constant music notes to Sage, increasing the time it takes for him to cast the spell of Doom. You can take them out pretty quickly, thankfully, making this one a minor hindrance at best. A little out of the way, but easy to take care of. However, I'd put good money on betting that these are going to come back quite frequently in annoying locations. That thing Sage just talked about, calling him over, is pretty much literally the worst thing you could ever do in this mode, and you will never see me attempt it. First, you need to be in range to call him, at which point you might as well just grab him. Secondly, he moves as slow as if you were just walking with him, and the only time you'll ever really need to move him is when you're in a hurry to get him somewhere. So you might as well just run with him at that point. Finally, he can't cast the spell of Doom while walking towards you, making the whole ordeal just a gigantic waste of time. Something you'll learn pretty quickly about enemies in this mode is that they become pants-on-head retarded when it comes to walls. As long as there's a wall directly between them and Sage, they have absolutely no understanding of how to get around it. Useful to keep in mind. Speaking of smart enemy strategies, a really good one to take note of is that you can essentially draw aggro away from the Sage by being closer to the enemies than he is to them. I made good use of that right out of the gate by tempting the Mammoth away from Sage, otherwise he probably would have gotten rocked. The only enemies this doesn't really work on is Grenade and Bullwood, but what else do you expect from boss characters? Speaking of Grenade, look who's back! This battle plays out pretty much exactly the same as before. Run up north and stand on the Sanctuary. moving Sage to the side whenever Grenade charges at you. There's not really a whole lot threatening about Grenade. He's off the screen about 80% of the time, and the only thing he ever does is fly in a straight line at you. You know, you'd think Knight is the dumber one of our team, but Sage sure has his own moments of idiocy. There's some Sanctuary tiles right beside him that he could easily hobble on over to save us some time, while casting, but no. We have to run all the way around the forest, dodging enemies, just to cart him those few extra feet. This stage is a doozy, and I almost paid the price for trying to keep Sage on the Sanctuary tiles as long as possible. Grenade on his own, as we've mentioned before, has never been a problem, we've seen that. However, he's always been easy because we've never had to ditch the Sage for more than a second. With the Bedlam Bells about, we have to destroy them quickly and run back to Sage before it's too late. To further things, the Sanctuary tiles here are a very crowded area with limited movement. While you try to fight off the enemies, Grenade is free to swoop in with no resistance. If you try to be at the ready for when Grenade comes in, the enemies are going to get too close for comfort. With no real weapons around, our only weapon is ourselves, putting us in danger of dying all the time. Safest bet here really is to just ignore the Sanctuary and take the time to cast the spell in peace.